It's really important to understand that geography has everything to do with the matchup of the 2020 NBA Finals. Regardless of what happens, regardless if there's straight seeding, regardless if it's the West and the Eastern conferences, regardless of what the playoff format is, it's going to be LeBron against Giannis Antetokounmpo, the very best NBA Finals matchup this year. Kawhi can't lose to the Lakers too many times. That's why the plan is for the Lakers to not play. It's for the Clippers to not play the Lakers. I'm getting that feeling that we're just not going to see LA versus LA. Oh, if the NBA is rigged, we should see LA versus LA in the finals if they were straight seeding. But no, 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 no. It's about the two best players in basketball. It's about Giannis Antetokounmpo and King LeBron James. And let me tell you, the LA Lakers city of origin has everything to do with the matchup for the NBA Finals. Minnesota's nickname was the land of the 10,000 lakes. This is where the Lakers got their name from. They originated in Minnesota. See the geography right here? Minneapolis does not border Lake Superior. Some people think it does. Minneapolis, though, is just south of a few lakes up north. Minnesota has quite a few of them. Hence is why the Lakers earned their nickname, the Lakers, in the first place. It's because there's quite a bit of lakes in Minnesota. Lake of the Woods, the Red Lake, whatever that is. 4 lakes within the inside of the state of Michigan. That's where the Lakers got their name from. And because of that, the Lakers have to win their first championship against the team that borders one of the Great Lakes. Milwaukee is right next to Lake Michigan. Where is the map? So there's Milwaukee. Milwaukee and Chicago are right there. I was probably thinking about Chicago. Milwaukee borders Lake Michigan. This is one of the Great Lakes. The Lakers originated from that region. It had mostly to do with the lakes inside Minnesota, but because Milwaukee borders one of the Great Lakes, this geography is why they're going to end up playing the Lakers in the NBA Finals. And this has something to do with Kobe and Giannis and Yana Bryant, as a matter of fact, because dating back to elementary school, remember how many Great Lakes there are? Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Superior, Lake Ontario. 5 Great Lakes. There are 5 Great Lakes. Superior, Huron, Michigan, Ontario, the one in Ohio, Lake Erie, I omitted. But there are 5 Great Lakes. And Kobe, he won a total of 5 rings in the NBA. And this is why the NBA Finals is going to end in 5 games. It has to do with the 5 Great Lakes. It has to do with the Lakers coming from the land of 10,000 lakes. It has to do with Milwaukee bordering Lake Michigan. So we see the theme of the Lakers nickname play out in the 2020 NBA Finals. The geography has a lot to do with the championship matchup, believe it or not. The main thing to note is 5 Great Lakes and Kobe's 5 rings and Kobe's death during this season. The Great Lakes has gematria of 132. In 51, it is LeBron, Raymond James, and the gematria of Milwaukee, Wisconsin that equals 132 in 51. Believe it or not, 51 is also the same gematria as Michael. What does that have to do with those references? Well, LeBron is chasing Michael Jordan. This is the 74th NBA Finals. The Lakers are going to three-peat during the 76th edition of the NBA Finals. I find it worth noting that it is Minneapolis Lakers that has gematria of 76. But why does this geography theme hold a lot of weight? It's because James has gematria of 48 and 12. It's Lakes that has gematria of 48 and 12. It's Great Lakes that equals 36. The Lakers has gematria of 36. Well, LeBron is 3-6 in the NBA Finals. He's 3-6 after his time with the Cavaliers. That's where you're getting those references. It's the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin that equals 114. It's LeBron James that has gematria of 114. When we reference Lake Michigan, Michigan has gematria of 46. Milwaukee borders Lake Michigan. This is why the Lakers are going to be 4-6. And this is why LeBron's going to be 4-6 lifetime in the NBA Finals after this year. Now, at the beginning of the year, I had the 4-6 leaning towards the Sixers. I think I overthink it. I overthink it too much. You know that? Because Philadelphia is a big market. Kobe was born at Philadelphia. Ultimately, we see that hold a lot of weight with LeBron passing Kobe against the Philadelphia 76ers before his death. But it didn't mean that they were going to face him in the NBA Finals. I just overthought it. I overthinked it too much. It's just LeBron against Giannis. LeBron against Giannis is the premier matchup. The 5 Great Lakes, is that going to be a reference to the NBA Finals ending 4-1 in tribute to Kobe Bryant, perhaps? I'd say so. LeBron James originally signed his contract for $154 million. It's Minneapolis, Minnesota acronym that has gematria of 154. So is the Antichrist having gematria of 154. Ultimately, the people who hold the most power in the league are not even the players. It is the owners, because the owners set up the script. Not only is there 5 Great Lakes, not only does Kobe have 5 rings, but the Lakers won a total of 5 NBA championships while they were the Minneapolis Lakers up until the year 1954. So they won 5 rings over at Minneapolis. And then this means that the Lakers have a total of 11 championships in Los Angeles, meaning that LeBron's going to win LA's 12th championship in the city of Los Angeles against the team that borders the Great Lakes. Lakes having gematria of 12. When we talk about a history lesson, notice that the Lakers were founded in 1947. 13 years later, they made the move to the city of Los Angeles in 1960. 13 years later, the Lakers moved. And this has to do with the fact that it is LA that equals 13. It's a really interesting historical parallel. I mean, I can even note how much time it was from their last championship in Minnesota to this year. I can see if that provides quite a bit of meaning as well. So let me click on 1954. Notice 1954 adds up to 19. The Lakers are going to three-peat for the 19th championship. So I really believe that the 17th championship is going to be a tribute to the Lakers' origin over by the Great Lakes and with all these lakes within the state of Minnesota. I really believe it. As a matter of fact, it's 1954 that adds up to 73. There were 73 prior NBA Finals. I like how Milwaukee equals, or actually it's Giannis that has gematria of 73. I like that reference a lot to this year's NBA Finals. And then the last thing you do is what is the time span between their last title in Minneapolis in this year, since we have a lake theme. 66 years. Lakers and LeBron both have gematria of 66 years from the time of their last title. LeBron's going to be winning the title against a team that's from the Great Lakes, and it has to do with the nickname of the Lakers. There's no doubt about that. I think when you really break it down, the fact that the Lakers spent 13 years in Minneapolis, the fact that Milwaukee begins with the 13th letter, really adds up. It really does. 5 Great Lakes, 5 rings for Kobe, the NBA Finals ending in 5 games, King LeBron domination against the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals, no matter what, and no matter what. And I think the fact that because the Great Lakes are at 46 degrees north when you round up, the fact that they're 45 degrees north has to do with the reference of three-peat itself. Because it's three-peat, that's 45. And remember, Lake Michigan. Michigan is 46. The Lakers are going to increase LeBron's NBA Finals record to 4-6. So I really believe this is really starting to add up immensely. When we break down the nickname of the Lakers and their origin of Minneapolis with the Milwaukee Bucks, it really makes a lot of sense. There's going to be no NBA Finals over at LA or at the Midwest, but it is going to be held over at the state of Florida. Which, let me just do that again. Orlando, Florida, if there's any reference to Milwaukee, I can certainly do that really quickly. Okay, here's another reference. Bucks has gematria of 11. The Lakers have 11 NBA titles in Los Angeles. Title number 12 is on its way. They enter the NBA Finals with 11 championships in Los Angeles. I think that's ultimately why the Bucks, having singular Pythagorean gematria of 11, is going to connect to the NBA Finals for this year. I really believe that's going to be the case. And in the 74th NBA Finals, if you add the year of the Lakers' last championship in Minneapolis, which is the year 54, and you just add the 54 NBA Finals and the 2020 NBA Finals, notice that those two numbers add up to 74, the corresponding 74th NBA Finals. And when you combine the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar originally came from the Milwaukee Bucks and he ended up playing for the Lakers, the fact that the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo is compared to him, I think he plays a lot like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The fact that he's began his career in Milwaukee makes this a really symbolic tribute to one of the greatest Lakers ever. And it's only fitting that LeBron beats the best of the best throughout the journey. Tim Duncan, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Danny Green, while he was with the Spurs, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, and the rest of the Boston Celtics team. So at the end of the day, LeBron's going to be beating the very best of the best throughout the journey.